this is Vicki Gervicus of the Greater Gainesville Chamber, and I'm delighted today to be joined by Hollye Merton, a candidate for our state representative, District 21. Hollye, welcome.
Thank you, Vicki. Real pleasure to be here with you tonight, and hope I can let some of the voters understand who I am and get to know me a little better.
Absolutely, and that is exactly what we're here for, to have a chance to spend a little time and chat with you about some of the important issues coming up for our November election. So why don't you start with a little introduction of yourself, and then I'll have 5 questions for you.
Okay. Well, most of my information is on my website, but I'll go ahead and let you know. I'm Hollye Merton, of course. I'm running for Florida State Representative, District 21. And one of the main reasons I'm running is because we have an awful lot of things going on right now that need attention. We have, I know a lot of people are going to cringe at this, or some of them will. We have this wokeness going on, and we got cancel culture. We've got parental rights being stepped on. A lot of things. I'm very pro 2A. That's another thing I really want to take a look at and work with people on so they understand the importance of it. So I was born in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I grew up there till I was 11 and moved to Lake City, and I joined the Navy and spent 18 years in the Navy. Got out and worked in Maryland. I actually retired from the Navy, worked in Maryland for a little while, and then moved back down here. I've been here since 2004. I've worked for Shands, I've worked for the Library District, and now I work for GRU. Don't hurt me now. I don't set the rate.
You must get a lot of comments when you tell people that.
Of course. But we really try to help people because there are other issues going on. It's not about GRU, but they don't understand some things about the price of natural gas these days, etc. But I enjoy talking with them, and yeah, it's a great place to work.
Terrific. Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about your candidacy and the issues that are important to you. The first question I have is pretty straightforward. What would be your top priorities and projects if you are elected on November 8th?
One of my biggest projects would be to secure our schools. We have this issue, and although people don't realize that the school shootings are relatively small in numbers compared to other shootings, gang related and suicide, et cetera, it's still our children. We need to take care of our children while they're at school. And that's, I have ways to take care of it. I understand how to do it. So I think I could do a tremendous job. And one of my biggest goals is to secure those schools.
Okay, terrific. The second question is, earlier this year, we had a special legislative session to address the insurance crisis in Florida. Given now Hurricane Ian and the devastating impact it had around a lot of the state, what type of measures do you think need to be proposed in 2023?
Well, I believe we need to. This is a serious issue, and it's going to become more serious with the claims with Hurricane Ian and whatnot. We need to sit down with the insurance agencies or insurance companies and discuss it on how we need to make sure that they make a profit, but at the same time, they are able to take care of the customers that have so, honestly given them their money for over time. So have to take a look at that. And I know they have a risk, risk calculations and whatnot, but we need to bring them to the table, look at the people's needs, and come up with some real viable solutions. I don't ever think that government mandates are a solution to anything in business. I believe unless it's serious health issue. But in this situation, I think both parties need to come to the table, and we need to solve it so that it works for everybody.
Okay, terrific. Next question is, Florida's population is expected to expand by 32% by 2040. The number we often hear here at the chamber is 1,000 new residents a day moving into our state. Given that profound implication, what would you say the legislature ought to be doing to prepare for that?
Well, we need to be looking at number one, housing. Okay. You hear a lot affordable housing. Well, yes, that's an aspect, but we also have to look at how are we going to house these people. Okay. And the bigger issue is where are they going to work? Where are they going to get jobs? What opportunities are for them with that big of an influx? Okay. So we need to make sure that we're working with businesses. We're growing growing the businesses so that these people have some place to go. Either that, or we'll end up having a large population in poverty. So that's a big foundation. If we have that, then some of the housing crisis will take care of itself, I believe.
Okay, great. The next question has to do with voters and voting. A dramatic shift in voter registrations is taking place, where the number of NPAs, no party affiliations, has almost doubled to 27% of total voters. What impacts do you think this shift has on our state?
Well, I believe that NPAs that switch from a party into NPA, they're probably just frustrated. They're frustrated that the party that they chose isn't actually accomplishing things for them. So as far as how it's going to affect elections, there's going to be, basically you have no idea which way they're going to vote. So there's this uncertainty on some sides, polls. Unless you get the NPAs to poll, then you're not going to have a great idea of votes and stuff. So that's going to be affected. But as far as people are going to vote their conscience one way or the other, and so I don't think it's going to make a huge difference in that area, other than like I say, the polls and and whatnot that everybody uses to kind of make their, nobody wants to vote for a losing team, so the polls are there for people that are undecided, and maybe they say, well, geez, looks like this person must be good. So but the NPAs, what we need to do is both parties, not both parties, major parties, there are other parties, but both of the major parties need to actually get that confidence back from the people. And the only way to do that is to legislate honestly and for the people. If they don't listen to the people, then how can they help them?
Very good. Okay. The final question is one of those, if you were a tree, what tree would you be? But it's not that question. It is. It is. Why should our local business community vote for you?
Well, number one, I'm a business owner. I've actually owned a business. I started a business 12 years here, Quality Systems, and we manufacture autofills and for ponds and fountains, and now we're getting into cooling towers for industrial cooling towers. So we have a one of a kind autofill. I have a patent on it, and I believe strongly in making sure that business can make a profit. They're not encumbered to the point where they're just struggling all the time. One of the things is supply chain issues. We must make sure that businesses can get the supplies they need. It's a biggie. Okay, we need to make sure that we aren't over-regulating them to the point where they can't do what they do best. And we need to help them mentor young people coming up so that goes into the future as well. So that's some of the things. I've been in business some way or another all my life. It's just been a passion of mine, and I'd like to see young people coming up doing that as well, because innovation, or just plain, if you run a lemonade stand and you run it well, and you give your customers a great product and they enjoy it for a reasonable price, it's fantastic. And it's an exciting life in business. Okay, it's got its ups and downs, but those ups, they're really great. And yes, I think that's why I'm very pro business. So that's why I would say, please vote for me.
Very good. Okay, well, now we have a few more minutes, so this is your time. If there's any issues that we didn't cover that you wanted to highlight, or if you just want to summarize and wrap it up for us, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Actually, we've covered quite a bit of the areas I wanted to talk about. Okay, parental rights is an issue. I definitely want to. We've got to make sure that our parents know what's going on in school, and things aren't happening behind their backs. Okay, we've got other issues that are serious. Okay, that we need to look at, and that doesn't mean that we need to mandate things. Okay, if we have to, then it should be a last resort. I believe in smaller government. I believe in giving people the power to do what they need to do. We also need to make sure that the localities are not haranguing people and doing things that do not benefit the whole of the locality. Okay. And finally, what I'd like to say is, please go to our website, www.hollyeforflorida.com. You can spell it without an E or with an E. It doesn't matter. Okay. And just, I've got a lot of stuff on there that pinpoints my issues and my viewpoints and a little bit more about me. So I would certainly love and be honored to have everybody's vote. Everybody that believes in business, understands business, even if you don't, vote for me. One of the things is I will legislate from a standpoint of listening to people, knowing what they need. And even if I was in a fully Democrat legislature, I would learn how to legislate and pass legislation that helps everybody and work across the aisle to help.
Very good. Okay, wonderful. Thank you for spending the time with us today and letting us get to know you a little bit better. I'm also going to plug a website. I'm going to say, please do visit our website, GainesvilleChamber.com. We'll have all of these recordings of our candidates that have done them. And we want you to be an informed voter, and we want you to, most of all, make sure your voice is heard and that you get out and vote on November 8th. Thank you. Thank you again, Hollye. Good luck on the rest of your campaign, and see you on November 8th.
Well, thank you very much, Vicki. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.